Hey guys, Tarke here, and today we're joined by the first Patreon build review, and boy, it's not an easy build to review. So this is Tobias's submission, and if you don't know why we're doing this, we've got a Patreon tier for everyone who puts $10 in a month. I will look at one build you're currently playing and do my best to suggest improvements to it. I do that every month, and I'll leave a link to that down below. But anyway, so Tobias's build, it's a weird build. So this is what he sent me in his message. Been watching your channel a lot lately. Thank you for the content. Thank you for the nice words. Tarke is also very handsome and smells much nicer than Rise QT. He said that himself. Anyway, this league will be fine to review. We'll play something else next league. Basically, want to play an active summoner, and I love all sorts of chaos damage. Ran poison at first with the same setup, but had to get rid of that. Couldn't scale duration off to make it worth. It's squishy. I can't get past level 92. I die way too much. Killed all the Conquerors and Awakener at 8, but Maps and Delve kill me. So he's going for a weird, like, hybrid summoner. He's an occultist. He's using a mix of Toxic Rain, zombies, specters, skellies. Holy Relic, and he's got a bunch of automated stuff. Okay, so let's get into his items, and hopefully this will make a little bit more sense. So he's using a plus level minion damage bow with trigger a socketed spell when you use a skill. So he uses Toxic Rain, and his Toxic Rain will trigger the stuff in his bow. And the thing in his bow is his skellies. So he's summoning a pack of skellies every 4 seconds with his Toxic Rain. He's using Azaneth's Chant as his helmet, which triggers a socketed spell when you attack with a bow. So in his helmet, he is triggering... what's in his helmet? It is Enfeeble, Desecrate, Offering... Skitterbots? Why did you put the Skitterbots in the helmet? So you just put that in as a random one link. I think I can already come up with a way to improve the setup a little bit. So every time he attacks, I believe there's a cooldown of, I think it's a second on Azaneth's Chant. It triggers that. So he's doing like automated utility of his Offering and his Curse in the helmet. His quiver is a really nice, just like, life resist quiver. And then he's just using a incursion chest piece with stacked double life. He's using the triad glove, so he's converting all of his, minion damage into chaos damage, which is why he's gone occultist. He's gone for this pure chaos theme with the whole Toxic Rain thing. And then he's just using, he's got assets inspired from more generic damage, just some life boots. Some life, Ami. He's got Despair on hit on a ring, which is rating a second, and he's got Warlords on hit. So he's got 3 curses: Enfeeble, Warlords, Despair. Then he's just got some life stuff going on his belt. His Watcher's Eye gives him attack speed. Has he got Precision on? Is that one of his auras? Or does he have Grace? So you get some attack speed. So it's like a life attack speed. Okay. So even though this is a really weird setup, and this is a really weird setup, and I'm guessing he's just got like Frenzy Spectres or something, he's got enough damage that you said he's killed all the Conquerors, and he's killed Awakener. But he doesn't have enough defense. So what we want to do is keep this weird like triggering setup, but give him more defense. And preferably try and make the build make a little bit more sense. Okay, so I like the fact that he's got a trigger bow, and I like the fact that he's got a trigger helmet, so he's got like multiple triggers going on. I don't like that he's using utility skills in the helmet. I also don't like that he's got the Desecrate Offering setup being automated. So he's gone occultist because he wants to go full chaos memes. I think he really should just be going Necromancer. Because if he went Necromancer, then he could be getting defense from his offerings. So you could get some defense going on there. He would still be getting damage, which would scale his minions and him. He'd be getting a little bit of duration, which would scale his Toxic Rain. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn him into a Necromancer setup. I think that's just an easy no-brainer. So we're going to change his build a little bit. But it makes better use of the automated offerings. The skill effect duration is better for him because it scales the Toxic Rain, also scales his minions. So there's synergy there. We can go Essence Glutton for some ES sustain. Maybe you could do some hybrid stuff. And then he gains a bunch of damage this way, which also gives him minion damage. It gives him damage for his minions, 10% more. For him, 10% more. Enemies do 10% less. That's damage reduction. And then here he gets Shock and Chill. He gets increased damage. And he gets increased attack and cast speed for each corpse you've consumed recently. So he's getting ramping attack speed, which will crazy buff his Toxic Rain. So he'll do a lot more damage and will get more defense. He will lose out on some damage mitigation. But that damage mitigation's there. He's getting a bunch of extra minion scaling. He's losing out on Profane Bloom, which kind of sucks. But he's saying the main thing he needs is defense. He's missing out on some Chaos Res. The Chaos Res really does genuinely suck. But I think the Necro is just the better pick overall. For Toxic Rain, skill effect duration is really important. So that's just going in there regardless. Alright. So now let's try and make this setup make a little bit more sense. I would say that he should drop the Jewel, this, and just use one Despair Curse on hit. So if he just has one curse, he has Despair Curse on hit on one of his rings. The Warlord's Mark ring he doesn't need, so replace that for something else. I can just replace that. He can then just replace this for just a nice life ring, so we'll craft that later. Let's now try and... So he's just going for utility specters, by the looks of his links. So he doesn't really need additional specters. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this. No. Okay, because we're going to cut down as many points as we can, and all the points we cut down, we're going to instead invest into defenses. Let's... Minion area. The main minions he's using are Skellies, and he's just got utility proccing zombies and specters there. So let's drop this routing instead, go 1-2. Save some points. He also gives him some attack speed. I also kind of like the idea of putting his utility stuff in the bow maybe, and then going full damage in the helmet, because I like the damages from the helmet be proccing more consistently. Otherwise, just go full in on the duration meme, and then go like SRS Skellies, or like Skellies animate weapon, or Skelly, you know. I feel like he should be going more that way. Also, if we could then travel over, get both duration classes, we can get some more life, get some of that. Up the defense a bit. What does he get from going over this way? So from going over this way, he gets a hybrid cluster. Minions have a known aim on kill. That's pretty good. The other thing we could maybe do is we could change the tree and go more hybrid-y. Since we can now make the Spirit Offering affect us. By going down to Grave Pact. He's just getting some minion damage. I don't think it's really worth the travel, though, so we're going to cut these points. We want to cut this down as much as possible. Keep in mind this is going to be a level 92 build. So we can't go too crazy. 1, 2, 3 is better than those 3 points. Stop that round. I would drop a Mystic Bulwark. Grave Pact is nice. But again, he said, like, he doesn't have issues with damage. He has issues with defense. So we're going to be adding defense to his setup, right? So what we want to do is we just want to make this guy's setup tankier. So I think maybe instead of going this way, maybe we do come across and then grab Written in Blood instead of coming this way. Getting both duration classes is really nice. Although, we could do that and that's still a 92 build. Grave Pact is so... Grave Pact is good. What if he anoints Grave Pact instead of Ravenous Horde? Onslaught of Minions is pretty good. But then again, he's got mostly temporary minions. So... considering he's got mostly temporary minions, I don't think the Onslaught on kill will be benefiting him that much. Yeah, I would say he should probably anoint Grave Pact instead. As a black is pretty cheap. So let's swap that round. Let's swap that round. Where's his amulet? One thing we could do, instead of going for this like hybrid setup, we could also just come down into Marauder Life, grab Marauder Life, grab Soul of Steel, and that would just make his build feel way tankier. Let's make a copy of this tree, and let's try just a new tree real quick. So it's like just rooting into Marauder start. Because that way he could stay like with his weird occultist setup. But we just change the routing. So let me just do this. Let me just do this completely like from scratch. How I would maybe do it. Also, yeah, I think we want to keep him as the occultist setup because he also gets the wither, which is really nice. Let's try and keep the occultist vibe. Let's try and keep the occultist vibe going. Right. Whatever we're doing, getting the skill effect duration classes, because skill effect duration classes are really, really beneficial for him. Okay. So this much of the tree, I agree with. If you then roots down this way instead of that, it sucks not getting Potency of Will. Aligned Spirits isn't that great. Is he proccing Elite Equilibrium? He's not proccing Elite Equilibrium. Oh, but he's converting his stuff with the gloves to Chaos, so it doesn't matter anyway. I was gonna say that'd be pretty important otherwise. Level 77 tree. So you could just do something kind of like that. And then shove on the curse stuff that he's going to want. Oh, does that change the tree at all? I'm trying to think maybe if you root along the 2 points, drop 3 points. It's weird because I want to I kind of want to start taking points for chaos damage to scale his stuff, but then that doesn't. He just wants to go pure generic with the minion scaling. Scaling skill effect duration scales both him and his minions, so I think that's like a no-brainer. So that's level 105 tree. So that's slightly too many points. That's level 99 tree. Okay, we're kind of getting there now. We just have to bring the points back. Right. You don't want to drop Spiritual Command because you want the minion stuff to affect you. It really, you really want Corpse Pact though. Corpse Pact is great with the scaling attack speed. Ooh. The Wither's really good for Chaos setups. We'll stick with the Chaos setup. Okay. Oh god, this is a build and a half. This was not an easy one to start on. Okay. We went for a tree kind of like this. He could get Wither on hit from like a Glorious Vanity or something. Which is a good point. Yeah, like, he could shove a Glorious Jewel here, right? Get this node. Get a bunch of his life as extra ES. Get 30% of life as ES, right? Go for the Dorian Jewel. Get the Wither on hit. Have the Spirit Offering. Eh? I really think Necro is the way to go. I really think Necro is the way to go. It's just got so much more synergy. Yeah. So, we want to use the Timeless Jewel, the Vile Timeless Jewel. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Corrupted Soul. Causes 50% of non-chaos damage to bypass any shield, grants 20% of maximum life as extra energy shield. So, one of the things you can get from that is Wither on hit. He could also just put Withering Touch into his links. Like, he could just link it into the Toxic Rain. And then he'd have the Spirit Offering spam. Yeah. I'll leave it up to him. I'll leave it up to him. I'll just improve the tree as much as I can. Doesn't his Skellies have it? Hang on, where is Skellies? He's got Withering Touch on his Skellies anyway, so he already kind of has... Yeah, he kind of already has the Wither setup going on there. Yeah, dude. Go Necro. Go Necro. 100% go Necro. I think it would probably be better, though, to maybe, instead of having the Skellies in the bow, would be try having the Skellies in the helmet, because the helmet will proc more often. It's got a lower cooldown, because the bow only procs every 4 seconds, whereas the helmet procs every 1 second, I believe. And he could also use Withering Step as a movement skill, which also applies Wither, and having more movement abilities, having more zoom, will give him more defense. He's saying, like, he was dying, right? He had enough damage, he was just dying too much. So I'm just gonna cut all the unnecessary stuff from his links. Let's just cut everything that doesn't need to be there. Okay. Flesh and Stone. Good link. We like Flesh and Stone. Precision. He's only using the Precision because of the Watcher's Eye. But he doesn't need accuracy for Toxic Rain. So I'm just gonna get rid of the Precision because it doesn't need to be there. Convocation, sure. Summon Carrion Golem, sure. Right. We can now take the Skitterbots out of the helmet because it's just a wasted link there. So let's yoink that. Whatever we do, we'll add it to his random utility setup, right? So that's a random utility falling. Sure. Shove it in there. I do feel like this is a waste. I really think going like... I feel like if you're going for this, go full meme and have like SRS come out the helmet as well. I think having SRS come out the helmet would be really cool. And also, he doesn't need the Skitterbots if we go for the Necro setup because he's got the Chilling and the Shock. Yeah, so, yeah, Necro. Oh, dude, go Necro. He can now run, like, a Malevolence if you wanted to buff his damage. He could run a Discipline. He could run a Haste, because the Haste would scale both him and his minions. He wouldn't have any mana issues, because Essence Garden gives you really good mana sustain. because he's constantly detonating corpses because of the helmet or the bow, whichever way he does the setup. Let's say that he keeps the helmet for pure utility. So he's with the helmet, he doesn't need the curse in the helmet anymore because he's just going to use despair on one ring. He has an aspect of spider in the build. Oh, I really want to move the Desecrate Spirit Offering onto the bow. And shove the skellies in there. Oh. I really want to do it. What other utility setups could he have in the helmet? Triggering, which would be helpful for him. He could do Cold Snap triggering for frenzy charges, which would be more damage for him. He doesn't really seem to care about his damage that much, so he wants stuff which benefits both him and his minions. Having the constantly spamming Desecrate Spirit Offering is really good defense, though. Really good defense, because it's like constantly creating corpses, constantly creating damage. Spamming Spirit Offering is constantly giving him ES. I feel like he wants to, yeah, I feel like he wants to go ES scaling. So we're gonna shove. He doesn't have much ES on the tree, though. I mean, even without much ES scaling, just having 20% of life is extra ES. Like, if we were just to add it to... Let's just add it to the jewel. What's the exact wording? It is 20, just 20% max life as extra energy shield. Because you can also craft that on chest piece. Edit. So that'll just give him a straight, like, 1.5k. That's clean. And then if we just put that craft on the chest instead of the life craft, it's 10%. Life is extra energy shield. I think it's at the bottom somewhere. There you go. So that gives him a clean 6k life, 2.5k ES. That seems really solid. That seems really solid. And then we can just shove a discipline in there, which would we could shove a Vile discipline, which would give another 300 ES. So we'll just make it a Vile discipline. So that also gives him a nice emergency button to press. And then he's on 50% mana unreserved, which is fine because he's getting the mana sustain that way. If you didn't want to go crazy... Thanks,
my guy less than 3.
If you don't want to go scale on the skill effect duration, so you don't need the curse nodes anymore, you could then travel this way, grab Melding, grab Grave Intuitions, grab Written in Blood. So you could then do that, and then, like, drop these points. And you have 3.5k ES, 6.6k life. And that's a level 82 build, so then you could shove, like, this one back in, maybe. That's level 95 build at that point. You really want at least one skill effect duration cluster. And these nodes are really solid. I really like Arcane Chemistry, because if you have reduced flask charges on a belt as well, you get, like, 2 extra use of your flasks. But if this was his, like, 95 tree... 97. You might have to cut some points. He would be looking at, like, 7k-ish life, like, 3k-ish energy shield. Swap those 3 points around again. Whoops. I think he kind of wants this to be, like, his endgame. I guess this rooting becomes kind of weak now. It's okay. But we basically, like, doubled his EHP by doing the swap. He's also gained... a bunch of area, which is really nice for his Toxic Rain scaling. Like, his Toxic Rain damage has gone up a lot. You could even just shove, like, if you don't know what else to put there, if you just want to shove, like, a utility setup there, you could just shove in, like, SRS Withering Touch. Just to keep a bit of the meme alive, you know what I mean? Other options to put in here would be something kind of like Cold Snap for frenzy charges, Curse in here if you don't have the curse on ring. Bane, whatever. Let's just for fun. Let's just say summon Raging Spirit. Or he could even just like he could just like automate his Carrion Golem. So his Carrion Golem's always alive. But then he'd be spamming it too hard. That'd be kind of annoying. Maybe not then. Maybe not then. Maybe not. We'll keep it open. We'll keep it flex. Put 2 extra utility setups in there. So he's doing the zombies and the specters just for the feeding frenzy. Maybe you could put the zombies in the hat, like zombie feeding frenzy. So you create corpses, which then spirit offering, boom, and then you then consume more corpses, making zombies, which just like run outwards. I kind of like that idea. You could also just spell cascade the desecrate, so you create more corpses. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely some cool things you can do there. You're definitely going to want a Withering Touch somewhere. Because that's just going to add a bunch of extra utility. And zoom, and movement speed. So now let's actually just go through his gear until we can improve gear-wise. He's also gained a jewel. So let's just say that he's currently just got like life dex jewels. Let's just say he gets another life dex jewel. Obviously, if he had like minion jewels, he would gain more damage. It says he doesn't need damage. And then to cut points off, I'd honestly drop Grave Intentions to bring the points down a bit more. I would get this. I don't think it's that important. Because, again, like, minions have a chance to gain Unholy Might on kill. That's just, like, one individual minion, and he's using duration-based minions, which are constantly, like, resummoning. So I don't think it's that important, in all honesty. So let's just say he gets that last, if at all. I do like this tree a lot better, though. I'd be tempted to get the other thing, but let's say that he doesn't. So let's say he keeps the chest. Let's say he keeps the quiver. The quiver's nice. Another thing you could actually do, going for a more ES focus, is you could go for a Soul Strike quiver. Although you're not really going to need the Soul Strike quiver because the Spirit Offering's going to be constantly giving him Energy Shield. So that's really solid. So we just need to add like a defensive ring into the build. So I keep the Despair Ring, and then just craft a Vermilion Ring. We won't shove Catalyst and stuff on there, but obviously that would be a way to shove Catalyst on there. He needs Dex, so let's just say that he just had a Vermilion Ring with a good life roll. And then he had Dex and maybe some missing stats. Maybe you could, like, throw some fossils in there for some, like, or essences for some minion speed. But let's just say he bought a really basic, just, you know, really basic, just life ring with Dex. It'd patch up all his requirements really neatly. And then he'd be looking at, like, 7.5k life, like 4k ES. So his survivability would go crazy through the roof. I don't know. I think, Tobias, you've got a cool build. It's a really weird build. But I kind of dig it. I also like that you didn't go down the Null's Inclination route. Because if you went down the Null's Inclination route, this would be even harder for me to plan out. And this is already, like, pretty difficult to plan out. But yeah, I think this is definitely the kind of way that I would take this character. And even if you didn't have the whole Life is ES thing, and you didn't like that idea, oh sorry, you would actually need to take Mind of Matter to convert that. You'd probably lose these 3 nodes because they'd be corrupted. Since these would be corrupted, maybe you'd want to route through the weird. No, I don't know. Anyway, it's now a 92 build. But even if you dropped all this stuff, you're still looking at like 7.2k life. So substantially tankier. And then if you drop those nodes, you would instead just come down this way, grab Soul of Steel, grab Bloodless, and you'd be laughing to the bank. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of how I do this character. Hopefully this works out for you. I'm definitely curious for updates on this. And that was a 30-minute, very exhaustive build overview. So yeah, if you have a crazy build, or hopefully a much easier build for me to review, and you'd like to support the channel, you can do so over on my Patreon, link down below. And not only that, you also get some really nice little drawings, which I can show off briefly. So everyone who joins the Patreon for $5 or the $10 tier gets a 1-of-1 Bob Ross. We kind of just freestyle them, kind of what we're thinking. Some of the guys, obviously, I know because I hang out in my chat a lot, so some of them are themed. So, for example, Kaneit is one of them. Kaneit only ever plays Summoner builds. We're expecting Skellies to get smacked in the face a little bit. So here we have Kaneit, Udabomb, Love Rise QT. Please no Daddy Curse. Me only smart for some. Then he's a Skelly with the Baron helmet, 2 more Shaper Deeps, and it's on fire, and it's... I started drawing a Starmie. Starmie's one of my favorite Pokemon, so, you know, you're my star. Makes sense, right? Here we have a nice, chill environment. It's actually based off my hideout. I started drawing my hideout. And we've got a nice lad here and some Chicago ones. Fishing. We've got the reflection of the sun in the background. Big love, big love. And then this is actually my favorite so far. Really clean, really minimal. Yeah, I like the colors. I like what I did there. But anyway, I'm Tarke. Thanks for the interesting builds. Have a good day. Bye-bye.